Garry's Mod, a classic game played by many and is still incredibly popular to this day. It's simple to understand yet incredibly addicting gameplay. It allows people to do whatever they want. They can create add-ons that change the game entirely, like gameplay and weapon mods, or something as simple as a chair rocket. I remember spending countless hours back in the day, downloading hundreds of add-ons and destroying the game in the process. But we aren't here to talk about Garry's Mod itself. No, we're here to talk about Garry's Mod in Roblox. People have been porting over Valve games as well as games from other studios into Roblox for years now. TF2, CSGO, even Half-Life have been near perfectly moved over and recreated in Roblox. While they might not look exactly the same, the fact that people took the time to move everything over into a different engine while being barely similar to its more popular counterpart is insane. In this video, I'll be taking a look at some of these games and showing you what they're really about. So sit back, grab some popcorn, and watch as I show you the wild world of Garry's Mod clones on Roblox. Also make sure to like and subscribe. The first game on this list is one that is more commonly known, and that is Raod's Mod, a very in-depth Gmod clone that features very similar graphics and was released back in 2020. This game has seen numerous updates since then, adding a ton of maps, add-ons, and more. There are over 200 maps total, which is more than I've seen in any Roblox game ever. They aren't official sandbox maps, so we'll start with the classic map GM construct and see what's actually in the game. Launching in, we're greeted with a modern loadout with some weapons that perform pretty well. But after switching to Half-Life ones, they didn't perform quite as good. Yeah, that recoil is insane. But regardless, we start exploring the menus and spawn an NPC to test out the weapons on. The prop spawning is very fast, unlike some of the other games we'll be getting into. I did spawn a Gmod Jeep, but unfortunately I couldn't drive it. There are actual cars you can drive in the game that aren't actual Garry's Mod ones, but they still work pretty well and as you would expect. In terms of the map, it is fairly accurate, making sure to get all of the underground parts and keeping the graphics as relative to Gmod as possible. I did end up finding a Minecraft block placing add-on, so I spent the next 10 minutes building a house. I regret my decision, however, because I spent all this time building a house for a 15-second bit. It still looks nice though, look at that lighting. I did a bit more exploring in Construct before deciding to check out a couple of the custom maps. Turns out you have to toggle prop damage on, so this other bit was completely pointless because I thought it didn't work initially. I wanted to see if there was anything to add to the game to maybe enhance my experience, because there was only so much I could really do with the base game, which was a lot, mind you. So I went to the add-on section to see what that was about until I realized that they costed Robux. All of the add-ons cost Robux to install into the game. This wasn't a massive issue, however, since most of them cost 4 to 5 Robux a piece, but it's still kinda strange regardless. I decided to join this racetrack map and drive around for a little bit, and it was pretty cool being able to use all these different cars on these maps. I didn't really do much else on it, but I'd imagine it being pretty fun with some friends. This entire game would be much more fun with friends, let's be honest. For the last map I decided to explore was this one called Train Station, and it was literally the train station from the opening area of Half-Life 2. It's not perfect, mind you, but it was still incredible being able to see this map in such detail. I couldn't really do much within the map since most of the props I spawned just freaked out and would fly away, or just get launched onto the map. I also couldn't access most of the map beyond the gates without no clipping through it. I did try and recreate the can scene, but to no avail.
Pick up that can. I said pick up the can.
Regardless, this game was a ton of fun, and I feel like if you gather some friends, it would be a fun couple of hours, even though you have to pay for the add-ons. The next game is called Inadequate Mod, a newer Garry's Mod clone released back in 2022, and while it has received updates over time and is currently in the process of being overhauled entirely, in its current state it's interesting, to say the least. But I'll just have to show you so you can fully understand. Starting out, there are no add-ons in the game, which is unfortunate, but there's a ton in the actual game, so there isn't really a need for them. In terms of maps, there's only 29, so I just go for GM Construct again to explore what's really in the game. For some reason, I clicked on the wrong map, even though I pressed Construct and it put me into this very blue world. This world made me feel quite uneasy, and it was completely silent, giving off the vibe that something was here with me. So we leave, rejoin, and finally get put into the right map. To start, the buildings in this game feel very accurate, more accurate than Raod's Mod. Going into the spawn menu, there's a ton of stuff to explore and use. There's stuff from Five Nights at Freddy's, Doors, Poppy's Playtime, Among Us, and more. I ended up going into the Metal Gear Solid section and accidentally spawned Senator Armstrong. I wasn't really concerned since he spawned at the ground until he actually started chasing me. And as it would turn out, he's completely invincible. No matter how many rockets and bullets I used, he just wouldn't die. So I sent him into the Shadow Realm and moved back into the menu and started spawning some cars. I couldn't actually drive any of these, which was unfortunate, even the ones that are in the drivable car section. There's a ton of NPCs to spawn, as well as ragdolls for each one. Unfortunately, they don't work too well. That's not me adding that sound in either, it's just glitching the hell out. I did find an Among Us potion in the menu as well.
The Among Us potion from the dark web. And supposedly, when you drink this Among Us potion at 3 a.m., you turn into the imposter from Among Us.
Once I entered my true form, I started blasting the ragdolls and just randomly shooting because my brain was fully rotted at this point. There wasn't much else to explore in this game, so I decided to move on to the next one. And when I say it's chaos, it's legit pure chaos. From the second I spawned in, I died, and the worst part, there's no single player. It just spawns you into a lobby with everybody else, which isn't a huge issue aside from the fact that everyone is just spawning hostile NPCs, but I found my own little area and started exploring there. This game feels like it has more props and overall stuff inside the game, there's just no other maps and no single player. There are some game passes for natural disasters and nukes however. This game also features the all-time GOAT, bouncy balls, which you can still bounce around and eat to regain health. I spawned some more fun stuff like a trampoline, which didn't work that well, and tried to throw some explosive barrels, which didn't work at all, no matter how softly I grabbed it and how far I tried to get it away from the ground. I did find some extra weapons and quite a few non-hostile NPCs to spawn, like this Theodore NPC which I riddled with knives. It was also a Mr. Beast NPC, so I just did the same thing. There are vehicles to use like this BMX bike, so I spawned some random ones in and just did some more exploring around the map. There are some customization options like the ability to change your skybox and gravity gun colors. I was just exploring the menus until I got destroyed by an NPC. Turns out some of them can't actually die no matter how many knives I threw at them. So to give myself a final send-off, I started spawning in a bunch of props in the hopes of causing a ton of lag. It didn't work initially because it was just a singular prop, so I decided to go for the more heavy-hitting ones like the school bus. I may have made a mistake however, because the entire game just froze and went to slideshow FPS. So I was just forced to leave the game after destroying the server. After exploring those 3 games, I felt like I had enough to fully say about Garry's Mod recreations. They're super fun sandboxes that carry similar graphics and sometimes carry more than what you thought would be possible. These games are excellent evidence of how much stuff you can actually do with Roblox itself. Being able to fully recreate games for a different engine is just insane considering how much time and effort has to go into these games. The game that you see on screen is yet another Garry's Mod game mode called Zombie Survival, where you're tasked with either hunting the survivors or surviving against the zombies. This one wasn't really a Garry's Mod clone, but it was still interesting to see how much you can actually do with the Roblox engine. It is a ton of fun being able to explore these super well made games, and I do hope you enjoyed this dive into the wild world of Gmod recreations on Roblox. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe. It's a free way to help me out, and I appreciate it truly. I haven't said it before, but thank you all so much for over 1,400 subscribers. This number is something I didn't even know was possible, and I wouldn't have the courage to continue making these videos without your amazing support. These past couple months I felt like a dream, and being able to create something that people enjoy just feels amazing. Thank you so much to my members listed on screen now, and to Majime for being a tier 3 member. If you want to support me further and get some sweet perks like emotes to use in comments and live streams, as well as roles and channels in my Discord link down below, hit the join button and go check it out. It's a really good way to support me further, and I appreciate it more than you know. Thank you so much for watching, I've been Miko, and I will catch you in the next video.